Hi, this is Ofori, the digital reader, and today what we're going to be taking a look at is the DRM publisher Black Library. Now, Black Library is the publisher who publishes fiction books and audiobooks for Warhammer. And Warhammer is basically, it started out as a fantasy and high science fiction table game, and then kind of morphed into this huge intellectual property that spans movies, games, it does books, audiobooks. So it's kind of like a hard science fiction and fantasy version of D&D, as far as it has role-playing games, it has tabletop stuff, and it has a lot of other IP that use its world as a setting. So Black Library basically, they focus on 5 different takes on the Warhammer universe as far as the fiction that they use. Age of Sigmar. After centuries of darkness, light has returned to the mortal realms. The God King Sigmar has sent his lightning-forged warriors to strike against the forces of chaos and salvage hope from the shattered remnants of war. Warhammer 40,000. War rages across the galaxy. The fragile imperium of man is beset on all sides by aliens, demons, and traitors. This is our most expansive setting with hundreds of action-packed titles to choose from. Horus Heresy. If you're after tales of epic galaxy-spanning conflict filled with betrayal, treachery, and sundered brotherhoods, look no further. The New York Times best-selling Horus Heresy series is for you. Warhammer Crime. Warhammer Crime tales are set in the grim darkness of the far future in the massive city of Varangantua. This crime-ridden metropolis is home to all manner of shady characters, from petty pickpockets to gang bosses, and from rich overseers to street-pounding detectives. And then they have Warhammer Horror. Explore the dark heart of the mortal realms in the 41st millennium in new stories focusing on the bleak and macabre elements of the Warhammer universes. So, boiling it down, they pretty much have Warhammer 40,000, which is kind of action-packed and a sampling of everything. Horus Heresy, which is more intrigue-based. Horus Heresy, which is more intrigue-based and built for longer, multiple book spanning stories about a particular character or a particular thing. Warhammer Age of Sigmar is much more battle focused and focuses on great heroes and great battles. Is kind of like their kind of mythology kind of thing. Warhammer Crime is set in a big metropolis. Kind of think of it as kind of a Blade Runner-ish, maybe Judge Dredd-ish kind of world, and the characters in that world and what goes on there in that world. And Warhammer Horror spans across the whole of their Warhammer universe with a focus on horror. Also, one nice thing they do is, because the Warhammer universe is so wide and it's maybe not very well known by people, I'm going to put a couple links to the Wikipedia pages that kind of give a brief overview of the Warhammer universe, just so you can, if you're interested, you can kind of get a quick feel of what's going on. But one thing they do is, if you go down to the bottom of their main page, they'll have great first reads and great first listens. Also, what you'll notice when you look is they actually highlight the formats that are available. So you can see, for example, in Scaventide, it has an ebook that's available, there's no physical book, and there is an audiobook that's available. And you'll see when I click on it, you have your ebook and you have your MP3 that you can add if you want to. They also give you an option. You can look at popular characters, Warhammer Adventures, art, the Horus Heresy. So they try their best to kind of help newcomers get started a little bit. I find that the best way to do it is kind of go over the Warhammer history, or pick one of their series that you can use that are great first reads. Also, when you go up to the different focuses like Age of Sigmar, they're going to have featured and also getting started. Warhammer, they'll have featured and getting started. And Horus Heresy does not have a getting started. They have Siege of Terror and Siege of Terror prequels. Primarchs, and Primarchs are kind of like legendary characters, heroes of the Warhammer world, so to speak. And then we have Warhammer Crime, and this is a little bit newer area that they're delving into, so they don't have a getting started section. So I think I'm just going to go not too tricky. I think Warhammer 40,000. I also think I'm going to take their advice and go with getting started. See if anything tickles my fancy. Let's go to view all. I think let's see what this is about. Warhammer Age of Sigmar is, once again, that's not hard sci-fi. That is fantasy. So the Age of Sigmar is fantasy. Warhammer 40,000 is the future. Let's see what we got. In the grim darkness of the far future, in the vastness of the mortal realms, there are those characters who stand out amongst all others. Within these pages, and collected for the first time, are stories of some of the Black Library's best loved and well-known heroes and villains. On deadly battlefields, Commissar Ibram Gaunt leads his regiment, the Tanith Ghosts, in a desperate battle for survival. On Ultramar, Ultramarines Captain Uriel Ventress stands as a bulwark against the forces of chaos. In the shadowy underbelly of the Imperium, Inquisitors Crowl and Covenant ply their clandestine trade. Through embattled lands, the realm of ghosts and monsters, Vampire Queen Neferata seeks dark plots to secure her power, whilst Lord Celestant, Gardas Sealstole, is a paragon of virtue and honor and drives back the pestilent hordes of the Plague God. That's a sentence. These are just some of the legends, the light and the darkness, the icons of the Warhammer worlds. So if this is what I'm going to go with, I'm going to go to add basket, and I have one product in my basket. So I'm going to go ahead and check out. Keep going down to checkout. Existing customer, new customer. So I think I'm going to enjoy this site a bit. So I think I'm actually going to create an account. So I created an account. It accepts Visa and MasterCard. So I'm going to go ahead and put my Visa number in and pay for this. Sorry, that's something you can't see. And bada bing, got my order confirmation. I can do it as an EPUB or I can do it as a Mobi. I'm going to go ahead and download it as an EPUB. And here, once again, it's right there ready for you. There you go. There's the download. And bam, it's done. Hammer and the Eagle. There's the EPUB. And let's go ahead and add this. No information. Let me see if I can quickly add some metadata to it. Bada bing, got my metadata. We love caliber. There you go. So that's Black Library. They even have an app that you can download just to listen to their audiobooks. And the audiobooks you use on that app are in the proprietary ebook format. So that's also cool. It's just a really well put together app, and they have tons of fiction and books. It's just, this is my bonus because you might not be into hard science fiction. You might not be into pseudo-religious science fiction. You might not be into hard pseudo-religious fantasy. It really just depends on, your personality and what you like. But if you are, you will really enjoy these Black Library books, because the Warhammer universe, in my opinion, is second only to D&D as to the wealth and breadth of its intellectual property and its world and its history and all the things that it encompasses. So hopefully this is of interest to you. This is Ofori, the digital reader, and keep reading.